Destiny 2 has been one of the most popular online multiplayer games since its release in 2017. Over the years, it has evolved into a massive game with various expansions that have added new locations, enemies, weapons, and gameplay mechanics. The latest expansion, The Witch Queen, is no different. We'll take a closer look at what The Witch Queen has to offer. So, let's get started. First one, new location and enemies. The Witch Queen introduces a new location, Savathun's Throne World, located above Mars within the Ascendant realm. This new location is filled with new enemies, including the Savathun's Lucent Brood, a new major enemy with the Witch Queen. These high warriors carry the power of light, similar to the player's Guardian character. They also have their own ghost that can resurrect them unless the Guardians can destroy the ghost within a limited window. This new enemy type offers a new challenge to players and requires a new strategy to defeat. New raid and dungeons. In addition to the new location and enemies, the Witch Queen also offers a new raid, Vow of the Discipline. Released on March 5th, 2022. This new raid offers a new challenge to players and requires a new level of coordination to complete. The expansion also added 2 new dungeons, but they require the purchase of a dungeon key. The addition of new raids and dungeons adds a new layer of challenge and excitement to the game. Weapon crafting system. The Witch Queen introduces a new weapon type, the glaive, which has both melee and short-range attacks as well as defensive capabilities. The glaives have abilities that can be customized by the player through a new weapon crafting system, which can also be used and to craft other types of weapons. The new crafting system allows players to customize a weapon to their playstyle or to shift a weapon within the game's changing meta without having to farm for a new version of the weapon. Customizable aspects and fragments. Beyond Light introduced Stasis as a power of darkness, which used customizable aspects and fragments to give the player more customization of how Stasis could be used. Over the course of the Witch Queen, Bungie will bring similar aspects and fragments to the original Light powers, starting with Void at the launch of the Witch Queen, followed by Solar in Season of the Haunted, Season 17, then Arc in Season of the Plunder, Season 18. These changes maintain the basic abilities but allow players to modify and mix effects. Ahead of the release of the Witch Queen, some content from the Forsaken expansion was removed from the game and placed in the Destiny content vault. This included the full Forsaken campaign, the Tangled Shore destination, and all its activities, but not the Dreaming City, the Last Wish raid, the Shattered Throne dungeon, or the Strikes. However, Forsaken's campaign was made free to play for all players on December 7, 2021. With the bundle pack available to purchase to access the endgame content for players who did not already own Forsaken. At the onset of the mission, you will find yourself amidst the rusty terrain of Mars. Proceed towards a minor Cabal base, passing by the remnants of the once thriving Golden Age. It appears that the Cabal forces are as curious about Savathun's ship as your vanguard allies. In case your weapons are suited for long-range combat, utilize them to eliminate the small group of Cabal, giving priority to the turrets. Alternatively, if you specialize in close quarters combat, make use of the rocks scattered around the area as cover. Be warned that one of the Cabal presents is an incendiary equipped with a flamethrower and boasting a substantial health pool. You can neutralize this threat by breaking its arc shield and directing your firepower towards its fuel tanks, which will result in a significant explosion upon its demise. The explosion will also leave behind a fuel canister, which you must retrieve and deposit at the fuel station next to a gravity lift. As soon as you obtain the canister, presents and legendaries will appear, so eliminate them before proceeding. Finally, take the lift when you are ready to move on. As you arrive at the Cabal base, utilize the rocks in the vicinity for cover and take out the small group of Cabal while repositioning. Eliminate the enemy stationed on the overlook of a nearby platform and proceed inside. On Master difficulty, Taking this part slowly is advisable since an unstoppable insider is lurking within the base. Follow the tactic of stunning the champion, killing the ads, stunning the champion again, and quickly taking them out. Once done, replenish your ammo and hack the console adjacent to you to gather information about the Cabal base and hide the ship hovering overhead. Stand close to the console to make progress, but take it slow to avoid being overwhelmed by the enemies that spawn in waves. The first wave consists of legendaries, scions, and a centurion solar, followed by the same enemies in the second wave, and in the third wave, there will be legendaries, scions, and a Colossus mini-boss. On Master difficulty, the Colossus is a barrier champion. Once you have cleared the third wave and amassed enough intel, your ghost will uncover a way to board Savathun's ship, launching yourself onto it using a Cabal cannon. However, you must prepare the cannon first, exit the base, and make your way to the nearby fuel station, where you will need to defeat two Colossus majors called Imperial Mechanics to open the fuel lines, break their arc shields, land the final blow, and collect their wrenches. Keep in mind that carrying a wrench slows you down, but they double as melee weapons if the Cabal gets too close. Nevertheless, to complete the mission flawlessly, it's best to drop the wrench at the first sign of trouble. With the fuel lines open, proceed to the generator room following the waypoint on your HUD. Take out the Cabal enemies that spawn from orbit while making your way there. The Incendiar Major within the generator room possesses void shields, and on Master difficulty, they are unstoppable champions. Take them out and use their dropped cores to jumpstart the two generators. The generator room is crammed with little cover, so play it safely. It's preferable to fight outside on Master difficulty, activating a generator after clearing out the interior. Hunters can use invisibility to deposit the cores safely. After activating both generators, the path to the cannon's control room will open. To effectively clear the room, focus on one side at a time from medium range, prioritizing the elimination of scions and legendaries followed by the Colossus. These enemies have the potential to kill you within seconds on legendary and master difficulties, so ensure that you always have cover between you and the enemy. When entering the room, fight near one side and not the middle to avoid getting killed. Once each side of the arena is cleared, grab the codes and head up the elevator into Savathun's ship. The next encounter is blocked by several hive runes, and you must collect 5 shards as tribute to unlock the door. During this encounter, hive knights and wizards will spawn and drop tribute shards when slain. The shards must be deposited on the plate outside the exit door, and only deposit them when you are ready for the next round, as waves cannot spawn until tribute is deposited. After killing the knight, grab its tribute shard, deposit it, and additional hive will spawn. On the second wave, knights will spawn on each side along with a small army of fodder units. Use grenades to lock down the spawn points and get easy grenade kills to proc volatile rounds for void subclasses. Kill the knights as soon as possible and deposit the tribute when ready. The final wave has wizards instead of hive knights, and one will spawn on each side. They deal immense damage, so stay behind cover and kill them as soon as possible. Burst down the wizard on the left side first before the second spawns. Grab the tribute, deposit, and encounter will end. Further into the ship, there is a peculiar statue that needs to be reached by platforming, but beware of hive moths that rush your location and explode, dealing massive damage on higher difficulties. After grabbing the object near the statue, multiple acolytes and thrall will rush you, followed by an ogre and multiple acolytes on the left side. Ogre deal absurd damage on higher difficulties, so use sources of suppression and blinding to counter them. To reach the next encounter, you will need to cross a narrow walkway and platforms to the other side of the ship. Backtrack immediately after landing on the walkway to spawn the knights, each with moths that grant over shields. Break their shields to make the moth vulnerable to damage, and take care to avoid the moth explosion that deals arc damage. Kill the final knight on the landing platform and make your way across to the next encounter. Although it is technically a prelude to the main event, the Lucent Knight in the Hive is so distinct that it deserves its own section. The Hive Knight variant uses the Sentinel subclass with abilities similar to those of a traditional Titan, but is not considered a proper boss. However, it possesses a range of attacks that you would expect from a Sentinel Titan in the Crucible. Your best strategy in this fight is to use cover and the slits near the stairs to take a few shots at the knight. Avoid keeping it in your line of sight when its super is active, and wait for the super to end before attacking with your weapons and abilities to damage it. You will need to kill the knight twice and destroy its ghost to complete this part of the encounter. Once you have defeated the Lucent Knight, it's time to open a portal to Savathun's throne world. As with the previous encounter, you must collect tribute shards from defeated hive enemies to charge the portal. The tribute deposit plate is located next to the portal in the center of the arena. After rallying at the nearby flag, stand on the plate when you are ready. Once again, there will be 3 waves of enemies, with only one enemy dropping tribute in each wave, and the next waves tributing requiring depositing for the next to spawn. Proceed slowly, staying behind cover, and avoiding entering the room across from the portal. We suggest retreating to where you came from originally and fighting enemies from there, as it offers a good vantage point and plenty of cover. Once again, do your best to keep your distance from the enemies. Start by eliminating the Thrall and Cursed Thrall, followed by the Acolytes, and finally the mini-boss or champion. The final encounter is just ahead. It's worth noting that, as this is the first mission, you won't actually kill Savathun here. Your primary objective is to deal as much damage to her as possible while avoiding her attacks and cursed Thrall minions.
Savathun, the Witch Queen, Hive God of cunning and lies. Hive legend tells us she was born on a hostile, far-off planet, where she would have lived a short, uneventful life. If it weren't for the worm familiar that warned of an impending cataclysm. And so, she led her siblings into the depths, where the ancient worm gods offered them immeasurable power in exchange for endless blood tribute. From this, the Hive were born, and countless civilizations were condemned to extinction. For untold ages, they devoured life and light wherever it could be found, facing little resistance, until they tried to take on the Guardians. After the death of her brother Oryx, Savathun went into hiding. Not out of fear, of course, but out of strategy. Because Savathun knows the best way to beat your enemy is to join them. In her greatest trick yet, she infiltrated the Vanguard, weakening us from within, and stealing our most sacred resource, the one thing we thought she could never touch, the light.